My name is Veronica Vadillo, and I am a PhD student at the Oxford Centre for Maritime Archaeology. And at the APCOM 2014, I'm organizing the session 6, Iberian Global Interactions, the Manila Galleon and the Roteiro.
So why did you choose to organize this session, and what do you hope to get out of it?
Well, this session is actually a continuation of the previous session we organized in Manila 2011. That time it was only Spain in the Pacific, and then there was a workshop organized by Dr. Wu Chunming at the Harvard Jincheng Institute, and we decided to make a further session so we could maintain some sort of a network of scholars doing this kind of research. And then we decided to expand it to Portugal in Asia Pacific because it seemed like that has some sort of cultural cohesion to it.
Great. So what do you hope to see accomplished in your research area, say, over the next 10 years or so?
Well, our main goal, I should say, because there are many of us doing this, it's not just only us three organizing the session, is to create a firm network of scholars doing this kind of research, and especially bring in together people from Spain particularly, who are doing a lot of archival research, but because they usually publish in Spanish and they usually have other keywords for search, and they're focused on archival research and history, their work is not that used for archaeological research, and we thought it would be a great idea to bring in together scholars who are doing different areas of study. So, for example, we've got Cliff Pereira, who is doing a magnificent work in uniting continents and looking at the Luso-Asian presence in Brazil. And his work is just an example of how you can accomplish without doing archaeological studies, and then bringing together his material to complement it with archaeological material. And then we've got also Maria Luisa Bolinao, yes. She's doing, what she presented was a historical perspective on the disasters that happened in the high seas, which kind of picked up very well with Dr. Miguel Luque Talavan's paper on oceanic deaths. So they were both the historical section of our research. And then that was complemented very well with other papers like Rotstedt's papers on traditional vessels and how the Europeans perceived or described the vessels. And then, of course, we had Bobby Orillaneda, who was presenting an overall vision of how trade happened right at the time when the Spanish arrived. So I think it was a very good session where everything merged together, and hopefully from here onward people would have more other people to contact, you know, when they have some doubts about, you know, if you have some archaeological material, then they have someone to contact to ask about what is the historical material, what are the archives telling us.
What are some of the greatest challenges that you see involving all of this research?
Well, obviously getting funding to do a proper research is very difficult. So I think that although the desire is there and everyone has gotten along very well and they all have each other's names, let's say, it is very hard to actually kickstart a basic project. I think that the best thing that could happen was probably to do a proper research of the late 15th to late 16th century and see what was happening in Asia Pacific at that time, because it's a very, very important period of time. It's a period of transition. The Europeans are coming in, and how does that affect trade with Southeast Asians and other stakeholders in the area. So putting together a project that involves interdisciplinary research would be a very desirable outcome and difficult to accomplish without proper funding.
And are there any areas, be they geographic or thematic or anything else, that you feel were underrepresented in your session, and how would you like to address that in the future?
Well, my main concern at this point is that we didn't have enough people who were discussing the Portuguese area. We had most of our papers pertain to Spain, or to the interaction between Spain and the local population. So I thought that it was a little bit lacking in terms of Portuguese heritage. And then on top of that, next time I would like to see more a focus on the interactions between the two people, and then see how they both influence each other, because this is a two-way lane. You know, you've got Spain at this time and Portugal were influencing obviously the places where they were arriving in various ways. But on the other hand, the locals were also part of that network, and they also influenced the Spanish when they arrived. So their role has to be acknowledged, and it has to be further studied. And it's something that several presenters actually pointed out, particularly Miguel, who was very interested in discussing the local identities and how these local identities developed. That was in one of his papers in session 5.
Any other comments?
Nope.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.